Hey, fantasy friends and Swifties alike, welcome to the very first episode of The Playbook, where touchdowns meet tearful ballads and fantasy football gets a glittery makeover. I'm Sean, your moderator, here to keep things on beat and on track.
And I'm Jake, your stat nerd, matchup junkie, and just general resident overthinker of every waiver wire pickup. If you've ever drafted just based on yak stats, you're my kind of people.
And I'm Krista, your resident Swiftie, as well as drafter overthinker. Think of me as part fantasy manager, part Taylor Swift translator. I'll help you match teams to eras and also call you out if your bench outscores your starters.
But don't worry, I'm Leighton, and I'm considered a professional dream crusher, here to trash talk your faves, my faves, anyone in fantasy sports overall. And don't worry, because if you make a bad trade, I'm going to be here to point it out with popcorn.
And I'm Lindsay, your unhinged fantasy philosopher. I draft with intuition, make bold calls, and sometimes cry over my benched players. Expect hot takes, lots of heart, and the occasional Swifty Mad Lib.
And I'm Allie. I'm steering this ship and making sure that our recording doesn't sound like it's being recorded in a closet. Wish me luck.
Today, we are beyond excited to welcome a very special guest to our debut episode, the original creator of the Super Swiftie Fantasy Football League, the TikTok legend herself, Missy Perez.
Hi guys. Thanks for having me. Ready to
Yay!
be here.
We're so excited to have you here, Missy. For those, and I can't imagine anyone on the planet that is not familiar with you, but for anyone new to us, can you kind of give us the backstory on how all of this got started, as well as what made you decide to blend Swiftie culture and fantasy football?
Sure. So I work in sports. I work in baseball. I work for the Phillies. I've worked in sports for 10 years now, kind of on the social media content side of sports. So I've always been very, very in that world and involved in that world. Taylor Swift obviously has been a big part of my life since I was in high school. I'm honestly going into high school, my freshman year of high school. So um, I started, making TikToks probably 2022, 23, maybe like actually making them 22, 23. And that was kind of coinciding with the start of the Eras tour. And I would get traction on a lot of my Taylor Swift topics as she is the center of the universe and the center of the music industry. So everybody was really interested in anything kind of from a Taylor Swift perspective. So I was thinking like, what could I do or something that I think, interests me, but is maybe a little bit more niche than just talking about things that, everybody was talking about. So I had an idea one night because I've worked, in kind of marketing and social for a long time. And I would say like copywriting is something that is one of the things that my strong suit, I guess, probably will be overridden by ChatGPT in a couple of years here and out of work. But I've always had a kind of a knack, that friend that my friends would text or call and be like, hey, do you have a caption for this? Help me caption this Instagram photo. Help me kind of come up with that. It's always been something that I've been good at and kind of as my career has developed, I think I've gotten even stronger at. So I had an idea of coming up with, it was around the time, and it wasn't even really, it was kind of the summer. So, but sort of about to gear up to the time of fantasy football. And I was like, oh, it'll be fun to make Taylor Swift inspired fantasy names. And I posted that video and then like woke up the next day and it had blown up. And so people were asking for more. And then a lot of people were like, wait, actually, though, could we do a Taylor Swift fantasy football league? And I was like, I mean, not with the amount of people that commented on this. I think it's usually like 12 to 16 people. And I'm also not, and I bless Allie's heart here. She's tried to reach out to me so many times, but I feel like I do have my regular work job, so I was like, I don't have time to, and I know all of you guys do too. But the logistics is not usually my strong suit on something like this. So I was like, how do I even pull this off or, come up? I'm not a super type A organized person. So I was like, all right, well, I guess, I'll create a Facebook group and then, have people fill out this form and go from there. And I spent like probably honestly like 5 days, 1 week, just like assigning people. And then I will say, I cannot take credit for what it has blown up into because you guys have really taken it and run with it. And again, way more the people that should be doing this, who are on top of things and logistics and in communication, just because I know my faults, and that is one of them. I'm not very good at that. So yeah, I mean, that was kind of how it started. It was crazy. Like, I think 2,000 people, had filled out the form initially. So it was like going based on geography of when people would be awake or talking, and putting kind of somebody that would want to be the commissioner of each league and organizing it that way. And I know obviously some better than others. Some people were less communicative, probably like myself would have been if I'd made myself a commissioner, and others really, really leaned into it and took charge of it. And I think it's been really cool to see kind of the transformation of where you guys have taken this silly TikTok idea and made it into something that's really like a community of people who are, I mean, at the core, just huge fans of Taylor Swift and her music, but also huge fans of sports, or even not. Some people just didn't even really know what fantasy was. And they were like, well, I like Taylor Swift. This could be fun. And you don't have to be a huge diehard football or sports fan to really lean into it. So, yeah, I mean, it's been really, really cool to watch.
It's so important to also say that this was all pre Taylor Swift and Travis.
Okay. Yes. And I it's so funny because I think I made it, like I said, it wasn't quite football season yet. And I think it was honestly probably around this time, like late June of 23, that I made the video. And then it kind of started to blow up. And I remember I was at the beach for the 4th of July. And that was when I was like, okay, because everyone was commenting like, oh, can we do a league? Can we? Nah. I was like, all right, let me try and figure this out. So totally pre. And I remember obviously like, the Kelseys had with just the Kelsey Bowl, Super Bowl matchup of 23. Was that 2022, 23? Yeah, early 23, that Super Bowl. They had, been gaining a lot of traction. I think just like New Heights had been gaining traction and stuff, but obviously pre Taylor Swift bump. So a lot of people were asking about Travis Kelce inspired names, and I was like, I ultimately somebody had sad beautiful Travis, which I think is the best one for Travis Kelce. But I remember being like,
that's so good.
He was just pretty popular in general. So then, yeah, when Taylor and Travis, it was maybe late September, I think, when they were first shown at the game. But even, I mean, this was pre the Kansas City Eras tour, because that was like after 4th of July. So, I mean, I posted it right before that, which is crazy because obviously then the intersection of Taylor Swift and football has become something that is way different than what it had initially become.
Maybe you manifested it.
Maybe, honestly. I wish I could take credit for it, but it was cool because it did see the like boost in interest of Swifties in football, obviously, because people would tune in just to watch Taylor Swift. I know a lot of diehard football fans have had their issues with it. That's the whole Chads, Brads, and Dads of it all. But I think like the coolest part of all of that too was a big thing for me, like getting into sports was my relationship with my dad and watching sports. And I think all of the like daughters and dads and stuff that, got into watching football because of Taylor Swift it just gave me the chills. But they did a lot of really cool commercials and stories on that too.
Yeah.
So.
That moment really felt so serendipitous. Just the biggest crossover you could think of and perfect timing.
Wild.
Was there a moment like that you really felt that this had taken off, or you were like, oh my God, this is a real thing. I can't believe this is happening?
I mean, I think once the Facebook group really started, and Allie pretty early on was like, "Oh, I'd like to help. Like, I can help you moderate." And I was like, "Please, yeah, if you wouldn't mind." And then really, she kind of had taken it into her own hands in the best possible way. But I think it just kept growing. Every time I look, it's like what more people joining or more people excited about it. And then you guys had actually, because of my work, I cannot participate even in fantasy baseball. We're not allowed to like. There's league rules and things like that. But then once it like started into different leagues and, people wanted to do fantasy baseball and people wanted to, and it just became something far more than just like 1 year's fantasy football league. Was really, really cool to watch.
And I mean, for us, it's obviously become such a big part of our lives. But like looking back, you made a TikTok and it literally turned into changing the world of sports and how women interact with sports. What's been like the most surprising, rewarding part of it all? Does it even really feel real that your impact led to all of this?
Oh, I mean, I don't want to take credit for it. I think you guys really took it and ran with it in so many ways. And I think what's cool is something like this, right? Like none of you guys would have ever met probably, right? Without this. And now here you are on a Saturday morning, chatting and you said the group texts are, going all the time. And it's like really cool to bring people together. I think always for things that are like obviously very popular interests individually, obviously, and especially pre-Taylor Swift dating Travis, but I think very popular interests individually and then kind of putting them together. It's so cool to be people all over the country or, wherever else interacting on this kind of thing and getting to meet new people. I think that's like mostly the part of it that really is awesome to me.
I
It's
think I can
genuinely been
speak for
incredible, I do have to say. When I bring this up in conversation out in the world, people don't realize the crossover between Taylor Swift fans and sports fans, and it's, like, the light bulb goes on in their head when they see 2 and 2 put together, they're like, "Oh my god, I didn't think of that, that's so amazing."
Yeah, it's funny because truly, like, not even, putting it, like, for most of my adult life, those have been two of probably my largest interests and things that I like really get me passionate about. And I think it's funny. Like, there are a few things that can make me like super emotional by listening or watching, or I'm super invested in the result of things, right? And a lot of it is sports and my fandom to different sports, but also anytime there's an album drop or anytime there's anything like that, it's like those kind of feelings are those really powerful sort of emotional things for me.
Yeah, I feel the same way. And as a longtime football fan, this crossover has just been amazing. I think I can speak for all of us to say we're grateful that you made that TikTok. So thanks for doing that
100%.
so that
No.
this happened. Um, but it's wild how one TikTok turned into a full on movement. So let's take it all the way back. How did you actually become a Swiftie in the first place? You said your freshman year of high school?
Yeah. So it's so funny to me. And I know now, and obviously in retrospect, everyone's always like, oh, especially there's that TikTok trend going around now that's like, oh, you're just became a Swiftie from the Eras tour. And then people will like scroll back and show when they followed Taylor Swift or whatever it is. One, I think that people like you can't gatekeep the most popular person in the planet, right? The most popular pop star. So if you became a Swiftie yesterday or you became a Swiftie in 2004, like it doesn't really matter. But I remember when Tim McGraw came out, I downloaded the whole debut album on LimeWire on my parents' computer. I was like obsessed with it. And it's so funny because to this day, I mean, back then, like I didn't realize that I'd Lie wasn't actually on any of the albums, and I had downloaded that on LimeWire, which became my favorite song. So I'm waiting for the debut Taylor's version for that one to come out of the vault. But I just was like completely like I loved Taylor Swift, and I like really like got into her music, honestly, kind of because of Tim McGraw, I guess, when it first came out, but in 2006. And then my 16th birthday, which would have been right after Fearless came out, because I would have turned 16 in December of 2008. So right after Fearless had come out, but still she wasn't like quite, obviously to the level she is now, or I would say like the level probably 1989 propelled her to. My mom had seen, I grew up in Florida, I grew up in Tampa, and she was performing at the Florida Strawberry Festival in March of 2009. And it was right after Fearless had come out, but it wasn't like a Fearless tour. She was just doing a show, and it was some Fearless, some of her debut album. And my mom surprised me and bought 4 tickets for myself and 3 of my friends to go to the Florida. And when I tell you, this is like a state fair, basically. They were like $40 tickets. It was front row. And also I invited 3 of my friends to go with us, or to go with me. And like, they might have known the words. I don't even think like You Belong. I don't even think they like really knew the words to that. Like nobody really knew who she was, but they were all like, yeah, let's go, And I was like dying. I'd just gotten my license, but my parents, it was a little bit of a ways out and it was going to get dark after the show. So my parents drove us, and they just like walked around the festival, and like could hear and basically see the entire concert even without a ticket. Which is so crazy to think about now, because obviously she would never, like if she played a venue like that, it would be insane. But I think that was really like, I mean, I was pretty early on in it. And I never wavered, like obviously like some people I think like fell off or got whatever and all of it. I never really did waver. I will say something that's crazy is prior to the Eras tour, I think I'd been to 4 or 5 concerts. And in 2010, then I went to I guess it would have been Fearless, because I don't think it was the Speak Now tour yet either. But she played the like arena where the Tampa Bay Lightning play. And we were like up in the nosebleeds and got that like stereotypical upgrade thing where, like somebody comes up to you, and I was in high school, and brought us down to the pit. We met Andrea Swift. I have those photos. I didn't get to meet Taylor, which in retrospect, but it was really cool. And then weirdly enough, my older sister in 2018, the Reputation tour in Philadelphia, which is where I live now, my sister came to visit, and we went to the show, and we were up. I mean, and also like at that point too, I mean, in 2010, I was, whatever, 17 and going nuts and I still go nuts, but I like the reputation when everyone were in outfits and stuff, and I wasn't necessarily. My sister and I were in like black jeans and a black top.
Right.
And similarly, we were taking a photo and a security guard like moved us down to floor seats. So I've weirdly been upgraded at 2 Taylor Swift concerts. I will say once we got to Eras, had enough money that I wasn't buying the nosebleeds. So I wasn't going to get upgraded anyways. But anyways. But yeah, I've been really tried or true, I will say, for a very long time. So a long-winded way to answer that question.
We need you to rub some of that luck on.
I know.
For the next tour.
Although to be fair, Era's nosebleeds were not cheap. So
no.
And I actually lived in Tampa for 10 years, so I know everywhere you're referencing. That is so awesome. And facts, the Strawberry Fair, the Strawberry Festival is small, so that's really impressive and awesome.
I actually recently went back to look when I was telling the story to somebody, like when it was, and it was March. It was like March 1st of 2009 or something like that. But the Strawberry Festival, the person that like puts it on, did say from a talent perspective that like it was far more. So she must have really like started to pick up steam there, because I think it was like one of theirs where they were like, oh my God, we didn't anticipate this. Like, you know, I think my mom like called from the newspaper, which is crazy to think about, but like saw the ad in the classifieds or whatever and called right away to get the tickets. I do think it was like pretty popular. So she must have really started to kind of get steam at that time.
And it's out there too. It's not like
it's
like Plant City or something.
Yeah,
it's
Plant City. It is. Yeah,
that's awesome.
That's my parents were like, you're freshly 16. You are not driving.
Okay, so we all have to ask this. You're basically the queen of Swiftie fantasy team names.
Oh gosh.
So we'd love to hear your top 3.
Okay, top 3. I always love All Too Well. I think All Too Well is hilarious. I really like You're on Mahomes Kid for Patrick Mahomes. I don't know a third one. I mean, I think now with like Drake London, there's so much, and I feel like he's always a top pick with So Long London or London Boy. I think he's a fun one to do for that, but it really totally depends. What's funny is like I feel like every year there's a new person that, like the first year I did it, like Jonathan Taylor was like the top pick, right? And now it's like he's not even on people's radars. So it's so funny now, like going into this next year, coming up with something new for guys that are coming up or you know, stand out kind of fantasy guys. But those are some of the ones I really like. I like the ones player specific more than like the generics, I think.
Yeah, agreed. But we will definitely be watching for your new picks this year.
Yes. I know. I have to start thinking about it.
Yeah.
What about you guys? What are your favorites?
I think if you're playing on if you're playing on Sleeper,
Death by 1,000 Suns is good.
Yeah.
If you're playing on Sleeper, Sleeper Cell Spy.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a really good one.
That one's my favorite, I think.
Yeah, I had Zay Flowers last season, so mine was Your Wife Waters Flowers.
That's cute.
Oh, good. So good.
That's really fun.
Yeah. All right, Missy. So before we let you go, we'd love to hear what's next from you. Do you have any big plans coming up or?
Yeah. So it's funny. I actually kind of had stopped, which I've learned quickly. Like once you, again, back to me just getting caught up with work, specifically, always like in the February to March time, I go down to Florida for 3 weeks for spring training, and I'm just like busy from 7 a.m. till it's just the craziest days. So I always fall off on content at that time, and I am so bad at posting. And then I've learned, probably like about a month or 2 ago, I've like started to try and post again every single day. But once you kind of fall off of it, TikTok definitely favors people who are posting all the time. It's hard to get back into it. So I have started posting again because I really do miss it. And from the perspective of what you guys were saying, just like the community of it all, it's fun to like talk to people and, you know, get to meet people that way. So I have started posting again, but again, just with work and stuff, sometimes it gets crazy. But yeah, I mean, I'm just, you know, living, working, hoping to kind of get back to that a little bit more and get to, you know, engage with people and talk obviously all things Taylor Swift and sports and life and all those fun things. But I'm really excited to see how things go with you guys. Just even the transition. 1, the podcast is really exciting, but 2, just the transition from, you know, specifically the fantasy to just more of a realm of overall kind of sports and that intersection of Taylor Swift and sports. Because like I said earlier, those are two of the things I am most passionate about in this world.
As are we.
All right. So we have we're gonna do a lightning round of
Oh
questions.
gosh.
So
Okay.
this is just these are questions that we compiled from people in in our Discord.
Okay.
So there's just 25 random questions. Some of them are football, some of them are sports, some of them are Taylor, and some of them are just random.
All right. I'm ready.
We're gonna give you 60 seconds to. We'll get through as many as we can.
Okay.
All right, we got a minute on the shot clock starting now.
If you could ask Taylor Swift one question, what would it be?
Oh God. I would ask her who every song is about. Once and for all.
Mm.
All right. What is your go-to game day snack?
The first thing that popped into my mind was Sour Patch Kids, so we're gonna go with Sour Patch Kids.
Ooh.
First Taylor song that comes to your mind.
Cowboy Like Me.
Ooh.
Who's your Roman Empire player? The one you just can't quit drafting.
It's honestly prior to last year always been Saquon Barkley, and I didn't get him last year, and then that was how did that plan out for me?
What is your favorite flavor of Uncrustable?
Grape.
Solid.
Solid.
Would you rather win your league or get Surprise Eras tour tickets?
Surprise Eras tour tickets.
One NFL player you think would thrive in a Taylor music video that's not Travis?
Oh, we gotta hear it. We've got to hear the answer to that. You can't leave us hanging like that.
I mean, if it could be former, because I think Gronk would be fantastic. I think.
Oh,
Gronk would be
yes,
so much
yes.
fun. Wow, those were fun.
I
wasn't
gotta
as
say,
rapid as I
Kittle did
thought.
pretty well singing next to her, though. That was pretty good.
Yeah,
as well.
yeah, that's true. And after that video, you might have changed my mind. I'm trying to think like current. I feel like so many guys would be really fun. The NFL has a lot of really good personalities.
So true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So is that everything we have for Missy?
Think so.
Yeah.
Any
Yeah.
final departing thoughts, Missy?
No. I just thanks again for having me. If you guys ever want me to hop on again or talk as we get closer to the season, I'd love to. You guys are doing really cool things, so I'm excited to follow along and participate. But yeah, no, thanks so much for having me. This was a lot of fun.
Yeah,
We thank you right back for being our
Yeah,
origin
thank you.
story.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Bye.
Missy.
Bye.
That made my heart so happy.
I know. I'm so excited. Like I can't stop shaking. That's just one of the coolest moments of my life. Not
Yeah.
gonna
It's a
lie.
life-changing moment for all
Agreed.
of us, right? It really
Yeah.
changed our lives and our
Yeah.
pathway. So cool. We'll always be grateful for
She's
Missy.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. We should make her a more regular, like a monthly check-in or something like that. If she's willing to do it, that was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll call it
Agreed.
Monthly Missy, and we'll just get some time with her,
Monthly
and that'll be really
We
fun.
love it. We love
I
it.
love it.
So why are we here? Because we love fantasy football and we love Taylor Swift. And honestly, the overlap is real.
All right, so each week we're going to bring you stats and strategy and obviously Swiftie style fun, including team name power rankings, just like we did with Missy.
You'll get real fantasy advice for every sport, too. Between drafting, trading, managing your roster, we'll have you covered.
And don't worry if you need someone to maybe call out someone in your league who started 0-4 and decided to blame injuries instead of their poor management. I got you. And I have the ability to write them up a full obituary in the smallest man who ever lived style.
I definitely do not want to be on the obituary list.
All right, with that,
then you should manage your roster properly.
Payment sister, you got it. That gives me all the encouragement I need. Yes.
Jeez.
Just Leighton sitting behind your computer weekly, just waiting to pray on your mistakes.
Yeah.
That should be motivation for everybody to keep
Right?
up to date with their leagues.
Exactly.
Who's going in the black book this week,
Well, with that, we're releasing this on July 31st. We're coming right up on draft time. It's time to talk draft strategy. You have to think about this like folklore. Layered, intentional, you can't panic.
Right. And what are we thinking about everyone's favorite tight end right now? Travis Kelce. He's entering his 13th season. Are we panicking? Is he still your tight end number one? What are we thinking?
I mean, if you're asking me, he is still definitely my tight end number one. He has something and someone to think about. I mean, I think that is motivation enough. So yes, he is still my Roman Empire 1000%. But I think when you're drafting, like, don't just stick to Swifty intuition or like drafting all the hottest players. Have one or two of each, but then get focused.
This also
I
gets
mean,
into my really good first tip. You can't chase last year's points from really great players. You can't make this summer a cruel summer just because last year's was a good one. So really be mindful, do your research. You don't have to go all in, but just a little bit of scouring so you feel confident going in. I think confidence can be the biggest boost going into a draft, regardless of whether you're a diehard football fan or you're just getting into it.
yeah, but I mean, like, don't be stupid. You should draft Saquon Barkley, or, the people who have consistently performed year after year, George Kittle, Saquon. I mean, even throw in Christian McCaffrey. He may not have hit his 2023 performance last year because of injuries, but the big names are the big names for a reason. So don't try to be way too niche and overthink it. Like, draft Saquon.
If Missy's telling you she always drafts Saquon, you should
Draft
draft
Saquon.
Saquon.
Amen.
Tip number
Watch,
2.
week 1, he's going to tear his ACL.
I'm telling you,
no.
I had him one. Yeah.
Let's not put that juju into the air,
No.
I'm
please.
sorry.
He's not on the cover of Madden this year. We're good.
Tip number 2. Look for players with big potentials in rounds 4 through 8. That's your cruel summer moment. It's like your high risk, high reward. Like, find players with great situations with question marks and backups getting promoted, receivers from injury on a second high scoring high scoring team, or like a QB with new weapons. Who knows? Aaron Rodgers, DK Metcalf. I mean,
Aaron
just
Rodgers, Sean, come on.
look for guys where everything could go right.
Aaron Rodgers is the guy we know all too well now. I think he can maybe pass.
All too well.
This coming from a Steelers fan.
Wow. The hurt.
Okay, tip 3, have fun with your team name, obviously. Shake it off. Shake it goff, chef's kiss. But you might be fighting others for some of the more generic ones.
I mean, I think definitely having a cute name is the most important part. That's definitely what's going to win you a championship. So that's the most solid tip I've heard yet.
Definitely. But again, ball too well, you're going to be fighting for that name.
But I like that approach Missy gave us, that, she looks more so at the players and who's around. I always do mine similarly. I draft first and then I come up with a name based on who ended up on my roster. So have fun with the draft, enjoy it, but enjoy the team name too. You have to love what you're doing.
If you're not having fun, what's the point?
And the last thing we've got for you as well is don't sleep on depth, especially when you get to those late round picks. Your bye weeks are going to hit like surprise songs. You have to be ready for when they drop, when they come out, when they're announced. Because if you have a team that's so heavy on the front end, and then everybody's got the same bye week, and your bench looks like guys who maybe get one catch a game, you're going to be feeling really bad for yourself for a week or two.
The bye week has, in fact, killed me before. Yeah.
It can feel like a curse if you're not paying attention, that's for sure.
I've definitely sat in round 12 of a draft and been like, wait a second, my wide receivers both have bye week 11. I didn't think about that. Who doesn't have that?
Oh, I know.
Yeah, panic mode.
Occasionally, I may or may not draft, like my backup quarterback based off of looks and not talent. I don't know who that would be. But then that screwed me over on bye weeks one too many times. And so I had to abandon that strategy.
So weird.
Well, it just so happens that he's talented as well. So it worked in your favor. Yeah. All right. So we're going to go to the next segment. This is a reoccurring one. It's going to be called Start, Bench, or Break Up With. And we're going to make it Swiftie edition, obviously. And Leighton, give us the rules.
So basically, we're going to take 3 players based off of their real life fantasy football performance and assign them a fate. Who we're starting, who's riding the bench, and who we're breaking up with, like Maddie Healy, and what you should do for your league.
And also, why is he trolling her again?
I know. What? Leave her alone.
Yes. A Peter Pan button. Also, like, okay,
Well, he understands that the only way he's relevant is his association
He is
with
totally
her,
trying to be
and
relevant with
so
her now. Yes.
yeah, he
Calling
sees her
yourself a
happy and he's
poet.
jealous, and yeah.
Maddie freaking Healy. I'm sorry. I digress. Please continue.
I mean, if
Well,
you could
since
break
the
up with
season-
him 1975 times, I think we all would at this point.
Yeah. Very well said, Jake. Very well said. Since the season hasn't started yet, we are going to do a classic dilemma today instead. Should you draft your favorite player?
That's a tough one. You know, I'll start with Justin Jefferson, who I feel like is a universal fantasy favorite. He tends to be the 101, the first pick of the first round. And yeah, he's had injuries, 1 or 2 years, but he's genuinely one of the top 3 fantasy wide receivers, if not the top, almost every single year. And he's just entering his prime. Whatever Vikings quarterback they have this year, it'll be JJ McCarthy. It's been Kirk Cousins in the past. They're going to get him the ball. He is the guy who drags your team and drags the Vikings as far as they can go. Hopefully in fantasy to championships. But if you're drafting him, it's a no-brainer. Don't even hesitate.
Lindsay,
Yeah,
I
my
can see
bias
your
is
hair
showing.
turning purple
Yeah.
as
Oh, yeah.
he's talking.
There still might be a couple streaks from last season left behind, and before I
love it.
get the new one going again this August.
I love it.
Okay, but I think we need to maybe go a little bit deeper. I don't think anyone's really questioning whether or not they should draft Justin Jefferson. Can we get like slightly more depth in there? What's a bench pick?
Yeah, okay. I gotcha. And I'll call it another former Viking, I guess. He lives on in Vikings lore for the Minnesota Miracle. It's a team that they're my favorite team. They're Krista's favorite team. They had so much hype this offseason. It's the Patriots. It's Stephon Diggs. He's my bench. It breaks my heart to say that,
Womp
but
womp.
there's so much going on around this Patriots team between the new wideout room with Stephon Diggs, Matt Collins, Kyle Williams, the new running backs with Travion Henderson, all the depth that they got on the offensive line, drafting Will Campbell, everything they did on the O-line and the D-line, Mike Vrabel as the new coach. Josh McDaniels is back as offensive coordinator. My head is spinning just thinking about the amount of things that the Patriots have done. And so while there is a lot of hype, and there should be, I think the Patriots finally are laying the foundation post-Belichick the way they should have last year. They're just not ready yet. It's going to take at least a couple of weeks. Well, I know Josh McDaniels' playbook is insane in the membrane. It's going to be insane for anybody, whether you're Drake May, whether he's a quick learner or not. Stephon Diggs, he's a league veteran. It's going to take time. It's going to take time to develop that chemistry. It's going to take time to learn this playbook. I would say draft him for your bench for now. It's a great mid-season
later round.
reevaluation, but it's hard having a superstar like Stephon Diggs, a guy who's been so prominent in the league for so many years, warming your bench. But I think that's the right move right now.
All I can say is somewhere his nephew Aiden, you're hurting his feelings, and that hurts my heart a little.
It's
I'll
not that
also
we don't
troll my
love the
socials
guy,
for any
but
Cardi B hate.
Oh my god. I think the Patriots are going to really turn it around this year. I'm not sure if Diggs can thrive in the style of offense that they're going to have where it's not one person being a superstar. And I think if you look at McDaniel's history with the Patriots back in the Brady era, and if you look at how Vrabel handled Tennessee, I think that it's very much not a one person gets the ball type of offense. And I think that that's really where Diggs excels, and that's what he wants to be. I was a little surprised when he went to New England because of that. So I agree. I think right now he's a bench. And maybe later on in the season he'll get in a groove and everything will be phenomenal, but I wouldn't draft him as a wide receiver 1 right now.
Coming off of his injury as well to his torn ACL,
Mm.
he's not going to be your starting X. He might be the Y, he might be the Z. He's still a great route runner, don't get me wrong, but I think they're going to put him in a place where he's not exerting too much force on that knee. Yeah, he might be making lots of cuts in the slot or like just past the 10-yard line. He's not busting it down the field like he used to, so that might hamper his fantasy production as well.
Good call out. That's fair.
Yeah.
It's also possible this coaching staff can get him back to the heart he had during the Minneapolis Miracle play, where he said, "Get me the ball and I will make this happen." Since then, there's been rumors of kind of a cancer in the locker room. So who is he? Which Stephon Diggs is going to show up this season?
Look, I don't mean to
True story.
diss on any AFC East opponents, Sean McDermott, but
Oh my
maybe it
God.
takes a Mike Vrabel, a guy who's like very boisterous and big and has a giant personality, to wrangle a guy like Stephon Diggs into shape. And it's not necessarily the Patriot way that Bill Belichick had it. It's like Patriot way 2.0, where you're allowed to express yourself. You have that wiggle room, but you still have that umbrella of like, this is how we operate. We have a team culture that everybody truly has to buy into.
With Vrabel, all things are possible, and I am here for it.
We're just going to move past the Bills slander because I'm well aware of your guys' record recently, and we're on top of the AFC East. So you can say all you want.
Okay.
Just wait. We're coming for you.
I guess
Yeah,
we'll
I'm
move on.
definitely. We're gonna
I talked
clip
about
this in like
Stephon
6
Diggs'
months.
ACL injury. Let's talk about someone who I'm just not even thinking about drafting because he's injured so much at this point. It's Deebo Samuel. He's been great for so long when he's on the field, but at this point, he's off of it more than he's on. Football is always a "what have you done for me lately" kind of business. I'm breaking up with him because of that. What he's done lately is he's been hurt. He's lost a step. He's in a new team with a new situation. He's definitely not going to be relied on for wide receiver 1, maybe not even wide receiver 2 at this point. The hard truth is, if you're looking to use Deebo effectively, he's maybe a flex. At that point, maybe he's your RB1. Maybe he gets a little position change in there. I don't know. I'm breaking up with him because there's so much uncertainty to the way that he's playing and frankly how much he plays. I can't do it with him right now. As much as I love him in that Netflix documentary, he seems like such a great guy, such a great dad, just not a great football player right now.
This isn't personal, it's business.
Exactly.
I mean, I didn't think we're gonna get to these personal and deep hot takes until the season started, but man, we're going straight for the throat opening podcast. This is great. Make sure you check in next week and stay tuned throughout the season, because we're going to be calling out real players, real real league moments, and real emotional breakdowns. But for now, consider this your preseason warm-up. And here's what's next. Here's some trailers, teasers, special drafting advice, and more just for our Discord members.
That's right. We're dropping content on all our socials, keeping our website updated for new fantasy signups, and there might even be some Swifty merch giveaways coming up.
And speaking of content, yeah, we'll have a content calendar. You'll know what's coming. We're not winging it, mostly.
Which means if you want to see certain content, speak now.
And if you're listening, send us your favorite Taylor lyric that doubles as a fantasy motto. It could be on the podcast.
This has been the Playbook, where we draft like masterminds and talk trash like it's reputation tour night. Subscribe, follow, and tell your league's most dramatic manager to tune in.
And we'll
Is
be
that
back
really
next
what you're
week.
going to tell him? Sorry, had to.
Well, we'll be back next week and we'll have more tips, more Swiftie takes, and most importantly, more advice that we'll probably deny we ever said.
Just stay off of Layton's obituary list.
Yeah, please. Here's hoping. A big thank you to our special guest, Missy Perez. We hope to see her back in the future. And thank you all for joining us. This is The Playbook. See you next time.
It's your time to whisper.